Welcome to the Real Estate Show with Pat Lopez, where we talk everything real estate. Today, my guest is Stacy Sanseverino from KW Philadelphia. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
KW Philly, excuse me.
Yes, KW Philly.
There is a KW Philadelphia, right?
That's correct.
Okay, KW Philly.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So I always start the show off by asking your story. How did you get started in real estate?
Yeah, so back in 2003, it was quite by accident. I was rehabbing a house. I had just quit my day job because I didn't like having a boss. Like
Right.
many agents who get in the business, they don't want to be tied down. And I was running out of money and I'm not handy at all. So my agent said, why don't you get your license? It's a hot market. You could be my buyer's agent. So I got my license. I didn't end up being his buyer's agent, but it's been nearly 20 years and it was the best decision I ever made on a whim.
Okay. And you're a full-time agent, right?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And what is your book of business? Do you deal with more sellers, buyers, equally to both?
Yeah,
what does that look like?
So it varies year to year. Usually it's about 50-50 or more seller heavy.
Okay.
And I know there are some agents that exclusively work with one or the other. And I actually really do enjoy working with buyers. And I don't think it has to be as time intensive if you actually look at it and make it efficient
Okay.
and streamlined like you do your seller business. And because I work mostly on referral, the people already come to me. They already, trust me. They have
Right.
that already embedded in our relationship.
Okay. And are you on a team or do you have any team members? What's that look like?
I've done everything. And right now I'm back to being a solo agent, which is
Okay.
just perfect for me. And I have a transaction coordinator. I have a client care coordinator who's a virtual assistant from the Philippines. And I'm about to hire my second virtual assistant who's going to be focusing mostly on social media and marketing.
Okay. Okay, great. And there's something else that you do. We have Agent University by Stacy, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So that's really what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
I always want to find out your story,
Yeah.
but I'm sort of interested in that. So how did that get started and why?
I mean, looking back to when I was a kid, I always loved to educate people and I always loved to take various pieces of information and distill it to what it's the most simple and needed. Even back from my cheerleading days,
Okay.
I was always a leader in that way. I was always teaching people how to do things. As a paralegal, I ended up teaching people how to use the Blue Book. So it's in my DNA, it's in my genes to teach and to distill and to disseminate. So ever since about 2016, I've
Okay.
been in various productivity coaching or sales manager roles. And it was back in 2019/2020
Okay.
when I really launched Agent University by Stacy.com.
Right.
And, it was just right at the time the pandemic happened and people were stuck at home. So it was perfect because my experience was that agents start the business every day. Brokers can't teach a contracts class every single day.
Right.
The timing never works out. People's schedules don't line up and agents just weren't showing up to the classes that I was teaching them. And if agents don't have the competence in what they're doing,
Right.
they don't have the confidence to go prospect. So while a lot of other programs focus on prospecting, I actually focus on everything else that people really don't want to teach. From lock boxes,
Right.
to using showing time, but most importantly, teaching agents their contracts. So I deliver everything virtually, online, lots of videos, downloads, quizzes, and I have a live Zoom every week. So it's not just like, oh, you go to this website and you never talk to a live human being. It's
Right.
like, it's actually me and from my experience. And I just break everything down into bite-sized chunks and then I reassemble it in ways probably people have never really looked at their contracts before.
Okay. So let me digest what you just said. So you're dealing more with the nuts and bolts.
Yes.
You're going over contracts line by line.
Yeah.
You're teaching how to do like listing presentations, like all the meats and potatoes
Yes.
of what you need to do.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes. So where most programs focus on getting the client,
Right.
I focus on, okay, now that you have somebody interested, somebody's raised their hand, they want to do business. How do you pre-qualify them? What information do you send them before your consultation? What do you say in the consultation? What do you do post-consultation? And
Right.
then what do you do to sign them up as a client? And then when they're ready, how do you show a home with skill? How do you price a home to sell? And then ultimately, how do you go under contract strategically and seamlessly and protecting your client? Because
Right.
hundreds of thousands of dollars are on the line.
Okay. And now, who's this targeted to? Are you looking at individual agents? Are you talking to brokers and their offices?
I have a mix of clients. Some are brokers that just allow all their agents to go through. And then it's really just like just like the real estate industry, you have 100 people show up to get their license, 50 will be out of the business in 2 years. And so it's really those 50 who showed up for themselves
Right.
that are the ones that are going to be taking and engaging in my programs. And then I also have individual agents. So I don't work at the exclusion of either. What I do love, though, is working with brokers, because I feel like I've been a student of agent psychology
Right.
for the past decade. And I did study psychology in college. So I feel like I'm well suited for how can we get the agents to show up for themselves when
Right.
we're working inside of an industry that is so focused on their independent contractor status.
Okay.
I use air quotes because
Right.
it's an actual thing. And yet I think it holds brokers back, and I think it holds agents back from doing what they need to do to be successful.
Okay. And then how long is the program? What does that look like?
It's all online and on your own time. So I have structured it into a period of, 15 weeks into chunks
Right.
that relate to each part of the process. So you could do it in 15 days, but that doesn't mean that you're going to digest everything.
Right.
You could do it in 15 months, but that doesn't mean that by the time you need something, you'll have reached that point. So it's really meant to be an ongoing supportive environment so that, you do the lessons before you need the information. You can also spot train yourself and use the Google, the Learn tab. It's like a Google
Right.
search for everything that I've put in there.
Right.
It's a search. So you could look at things like, let's say, price escalation clause. Maybe you've looked at the agreements of sale but you never really got to that contract, and now you're using it.
Right.
You're like, how do I do this? So you type in price escalation clause, and that lesson will come right back up, and you can retrain yourself on it. So it's meant to be used in advance of when you need it and when you need it.
Right.
And the program and the training is perfect leverage for a mentor or an in-house recruiter / trainer / person who's responsible to retain the agents.
Right.
Productivity coaches, brokers, because they don't have time to teach all this.
Right.
And this is a great way to show who deserves your attention. If they've put in the work to learn it up front, they're going to come to you with questions that are more educated. And the conversations are going to be, they're going to be less like pants on fire, and they're going to be more streamlined.
Okay. Now these lessons, are they something that you're reading, or is it video, or a combination?
Okay.
What does that look like?
Yeah. So if you've ever done continuing education, my last cycle of continuing education, 14 hours, I think 12 hours of it was reading.
Okay.
I wanted to pull my hair out.
Right. And that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
all you're doing is reading,
Yeah.
it may not connect.
Yes. So I do a lot of videos. And unlike some programs that may do only videos, I always include topical stuff like bullet points so
Right.
that you can have a keyword search. So every lesson is going to have some, form of video in it, like 9 times out of 10, some sort of text that makes it searchable when
Right.
you're searching in it. And then I've created an over 100-page guide that they basically digests the whole process. Like, one of the first questions is like, what documents do I pass back and forth? Like, it's so mundane that
Right.
most people don't want to teach it, yet agents they're like, okay, now what?
Right.
So I have a guide that walks them through every nuance that they're going to need to address when they make an offer.
Okay. And then as far as the content that you put in, how long did it take, and where did you get it from? Because it sounds like there could be, volumes, like telephone
Yeah.
books of
Yeah,
information.
yeah. There are probably about 1,000 lessons. Whenever Pennsylvania Association of Realtors updates their contracts, I have
Right.
to do updates, and sometimes I don't time it perfectly, and then I'm like, oh, I need to redo that because they literally just changed
Right.
it a month later. So it takes hundreds of hours. I mean, and it's taken years, and every year I have to, update it. And as the markets change, like
Right.
I adapt what I'm teaching based on the new market, I also 2 years ago created a Delaware contracts boot camp for a broker in Delaware. And my partner and I, my administrative partner at the time, we stopped counting hours after we knew we hit about 500 total each,
Right.
or collectively. So yeah, and it's ongoing.
Great. Okay. So to summarize that, Agent University, it could be an individual agent
Yep.
can call up or go online
Yep.
and sign up. brokers can learn more about it,
Yep,
right?
yep.
And it's really the meats and potatoes of, really going over that contract and everything you need to know. And it sounds like, hey, if I put a keyword in there,
Yeah.
I'm able to look that up.
Yes.
So, the 24/7, you have somebody
Yes.
there. So
Yeah.
if I'm a broker, that could save a phone call.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, even if a broker saved 1 hour a week,
Right.
this program could easily pay for itself.
Right.
Easily.
And since you said pay, approximate, what is the pricing? I guess if a broker signing them, it could be a little bit different than an individual or.
For sure. So, an individual person signing up, it's $97 a month. You can cancel at any time, because I've signed up for programs I paid $1,200 and I literally never logged in.
Right.
And I don't want agents to feel like they're committing to something that they're not actually going to use.
Right.
Because all too often, A, we don't sign up because we don't want to commit, or B, we commit and then we regret committing.
Right.
And unfortunately or fortunately, unlike programs that you can afford not to follow through on, you can't not afford, you can't afford not to follow through.
Right.
It's because this is your job.
Right.
At the very least, learn your contracts.
Right.
So that you are doing a good job by your clients.
Right. So $97 a month sounds pretty reasonable to me, and you can cancel at any time, right?
Exactly. And then for brokers, it really depends, because I've had mom and pop brokers where they only had, 5 agents collectively, or there's 40 agents, and based on their fee structure, that might be a flat fee broker, or it might be a capping broker, or it might be, your commission is infinite. So it really depends on how many agents they want to put through it and how much involvement, because what I really love is helping the brokers get the most out of the agents and get the training. So I really want them to feel the win-win by the investment that they're making in the program.
Okay, great. So if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, because they may want to buy a house, sell a house, because you are a realtor.
That is true.
Or find out about Agents University.
Yes.
How would they get a hold of you? How would they
So the best way to reach me is calling my phone, texting, and then I will call you right back. 215-431-5431. It's 215-431-5431. And then if people wanted to email me, it would be my first name, last name @gmail.com. And that's for sales. And then, and my name is right behind me. Should I spell it?
No, we're going to post everything. So don't worry about that.
And then Stacy @agentuniversitybystacy.com is for the training. If you email me at either, because you don't remember which, it's fine.
And we're going to post everything. So you'll see it. It'll be on the page.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Well, thanks a lot for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
When we spoke, I thought it was super interesting.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of, Agent University. So it was something like saying, hey, we should talk.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. That's the Real Estate Show with Pat Lopez. Be sure to follow the show on Facebook and Instagram, and be sure to subscribe below. I have some great guests lined up and some really good content for you. Also, leave a comment. Tell me what you like, you didn't like. I always want to hear from you, and also some show topics in the future. Remember, this show is everything real estate, no limits.